wonky, but this is Vallejo Black Game Wash. This is their dipping formula. Let's have a quick hydrate. For Pete. Hi Pete, how you doing? So this is this is dipping formula. Now they recommend that you just dunk your mini straight in, but we're not going to do that. We're going to paint it on. So we're going to compare this to Nuln oil.
Oh, why don't we do one?
Oh, I suppose I could dunk one straight in. I've got some spares here. We could try see what it looks like, can't we? So we've got that to go for. Now, unfortunately, we're currently sold out of the Sepia version of that, but I have got Sepia Shade Game Wash, which is very similar, I believe, to Agrex Easrthshade from GW. Now, we've also got traditional Nuln oil and Agrax Easrthshade from GW. These are the larger pots. These are the ones that we had on my work table here. And then here, we've also got the new 18mm size pots of each that we, I think, we've been sent early by mistake from GW. So we can't sell these yet, but we can play with them and try them out. So what we're going to do is do a comparison between new Nuln oil and old Nuln oil and new Agrex Easrthshade against old Agrex Easrthshade, because they've changed the formula slightly apparently. So yeah, we're gonna try those out. So I've got a selection of minis here. We've got some Stormcast Eternals and some Space Marines, and these have all been undercoated with white spray. And what I was planning on doing was painting half of each mini with the new and half of the old mini with the old, so we can see the colour comparison between the two. And then we'll obviously dunk one and see what happens with that. Let's just move that out of the way. Let's find another painting handle, and we'll dunk a mini and see what happens with that. So we'll use this Stormcast here and dunk her in, or him in, and see what that looks like. So I've never tried that before. So away we go. We shall start with. Are there any new pinks? There are some new pinks in the new contrast range. Yeah. Funnily enough, I think what we should do is shall we start with this paint this on a mini, and then we'll dunk it a different one. We'll dunk the other one, but we'll start. Oh, there's 200 millilitres in one of these pots for about £8, but just that'd be even worse, wouldn't it? If you tip that over instead of tipping over your like little 24mm Nuln oil, that'd be a that'd be a sickening event. Thanks, Tony.
Open mouth, smile, hand waving.
Hello, open mouth, smile, hand waving back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you tipped over a half pint of this all over your work table, you'd know about it, wouldn't you? It's bad enough just tipping over the Nuln oil. I think I read somewhere, might have just been on a Facebook meme type thing, but that Nuln oil is more expensive than gold leaf or something. But obviously, it's good stuff. Makes painting minis very easy. So, this guy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint half of him with the Vallejo shade, the black, and half of him with the Vallejo Sepia shade. And then we'll see what he looks like. So, I'm just going to liberally apply this all over like I would as if I was using Nuln oil. And we're going to compare the results, because Nuln oil is now becoming a smaller pot, but the price is staying the same. So if this stuff works just as well, then I will definitely be using 200ml pots of Vallejo instead of Nuln oil in future for all of my modelling projects.
Tony said I'd be more gutted if I tipped over a half pint of beer.
Yeah, beer crime!
We do sell empty dropper bottles and funnels.
We do.
So you could decant whatever paint you wanted, but you could decant that into a dropper bottle, and then there would be less risk of spillage.
That's a good idea as well. And we also sell pipettes, like bulb droppers or something like that. They're called. Green Stuff World do them. But other companies also do pipettes. But for such as this, you wouldn't even have to tip the pot up, because you could use the pipette to decant it into your dropper bottles for you. That's a good idea. Hadn't thought of that, my darling.
But seeing as how they recommend that you dunk your minis in that, then that is obviously why the pot is that shape, isn't it? You won't be able to dunk it in a dropper bottle.
No.
So you're going to paint one, aren't you? And you're going to dunk one.
Yeah.
Because dunking is recommended by Vallejo, but you're not easy, are you? It's not giving you an easy feeling in your tummy, just dunking it in.
No.
So you're going to do both because, we try these things, so you don't have to.
That's it. That's exactly it. Right, so that's painted the left half of him all over with some Vallejo black.
I'm going to do the other side with the Nuln.
No, I'm going to do the other side. I was going to do the other side with the sepia.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. But if you think I should do Nuln oil,
No, I don't.
so we can compare the two directly on 1 minute, that might be better. Let's do that. Because really, we're not comparing Hiker and Oko. We're not comparing this to the sepia one, aren't we? We're comparing it to Nuln oil.
Wild Pokemon in chat, wild Pokemon in chat.
Right, here we go. This is a...
Drum roll, please. Look how hesitant he is.
Yeah, but
I don't want to do it.
I love the painting handle that you offered me, because this one's absolutely huge. I think we could... If I blue tack that on, you think I'm at danger of just losing my minute into the thing? I got some. Thank you.
To be fair, if you lose your mini in the paint, then that is typical MLG stylish.
Yeah.
Really. Yes, dunk shade is an age-old trick. It's just that Nathan's never really liked it.
Yeah. I once tried
and tested method by commission army painters they use to use wood stain. Yeah, yes. Very real. He just doesn't like it.
Yeah, I tried using, not as a dip, but I tried using the army painter big tins of stuff. And I brush painted it all over some terrain. I really didn't like it. It just made everything sticky. Right. 3, 2, 1, go. So, what's the instructions say? Can be applied by brush, or figures can be dipped directly into the pot. Dries fast, and is recommended to remove the excess quickly.
I love the way you never read the instructions first.
Yeah, that's
Let's dip it, and then while it's in there, we'll read the instructions.
Yeah.
You're also sporting your beautiful loon band that your daughter made you.
I am. Right. So, well, that's what it looks like straight out the dip. That's
not bad.
that's all right.
That's good,
Yeah, I
that.
was expecting it being a lot thicker than that. Just had a little bubble.
Obviously, we're using it on undercoated white minis so that you can see the effect. You know,
Right,
if we'd have painted them, we thought it would be harder for you to see. So that's why there's no paint on them.
Let's screw the lid back on before I spill that bad boy all over. Right, let's move on to the next step. So we're going to put that guy to one side, and I guess we'll squeeze out some of this sepia, and we'll do this chap with the sepia. The next one. So and then we'll compare sepia to Agrax. So that's black.
Yeah, don't get them mixed up now.
Right. So
What was that, Nathan?
what was what?
What was the? I think maybe what was the dip? I think Tony missed the start. What was the? Dip?
So this is this is Vallejo Black Game Wash dipping formula, and the one that I've just squeezed out onto the palette is the Sepia Shade. So this is the stuff that you would get in a big pot of sepia, but we've sold out of.
So you just what we've got. But we wanted to, because the pot size for Nuln oil and Agrex etc. has gone down, but the price is the same. We wanted to compare the alternatives out there so that we can see really what the difference is. And if the Vallejo one's just as good or better, then they're a lot cheaper.
That's it. So this is Sepia Wash. Now you can buy this in those big 200ml pots as well. And already this is looking quite nice and golden on the Stormcast guy. You could speed paint a whole army of Stormcast by just dunking him in the sepia tub and then picking the details out later. Non-metal metal Stormcast in half an hour. So obviously all of these are washes, so I'm expecting them to just go on dead easy. It's nice and fluid. Say that again, sweet.
What else have you got to tell us about the contrast prints? Have you seen any of them? Do you like any of the shades? You looking forward to doing any of them?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I am. Funny you should mention that, because there is a red and a purple, and I can't remember what they're called. Might be Leviathan purple, and I can't remember what the red's called off the top of my head. But they look really cool.
Is it called Ready McRed Red?
It's called Ready McRed Red, yeah, that's right.
Tony says, okay, when they're dry, can you let me know how matte they look too? I'm looking for stuff with a nice matte shade. It's a dream when you're working with true metallic metal. Konoka says, is it Bile Red?
I think it might be Bile Red, that's it.
Yes, we're intending on, this is why he's doing it as early in the stream as possible, hoping that they might dry, so that we can show you. And also, we can pop some pictures in Discord, and if they look shinier on the images, we can say, it's not this shiny, because sometimes pictures look shinier than they are, don't they? But we can give always our honest opinion. It's very handy that nobody wants to sponsor us because we're too tiny, so we can just tell you the truth.
Yeah.
We don't get anything for free. Nobody's making us say how fantastic things are, or when they're not. We just do true stuff.
So these minis, you might notice that there's some massive mould lines and stuff on there. This is because these minis are the ones that we use to teach kids how to paint with at the shop. So we don't spend loads of time cleaning up mould lines and what have you on them, because we don't need to, because they're just for beginners. So
we can tell them all about them.
I've done some Space Marines, but I don't think onto bases, but I don't think we really need those guys. I think we need more Stormcast, don't we? Right. So we've got Dippy Guy.
Tony's talking about horrible things that I'm not going to talk about.
An evil.
An evil.
Right then, so this next one, we're going to put old Agrax on one half and new Agrax on the other half. So we're going to go for old Agrax on the left hand side, new Agrax on the right hand side, and then we'll see if there's any perceptible difference between the two. What's up, dog?
He's dropped his ball into your box of miniatures again and won't put his head in it. Good job, sweetheart.
He's decided that at stream time he wants me to play fetch. Silly puppy. Yeah, Leviathan purple and Baal red. So I'm very much looking forward to those turning up. I think Leviathan purple might save me a bit of time painting some Tyranids. Ooh, what's that? Thank you very much, John the Templar. That's extremely kind of you.
What is that bunny? I think John's the only person that's made the bunny spin around before. Thank you, John. That's very, very kind of you. Nice to see you here. Do you know what's going on, or do you need Nathan to explain it? I don't know how long you've been here for.
So we're experimenting with shades. So Games Workshop have reformulated the. Oh, that was close. That was a bit close. That was nearly a tip over. They've reformulated the existing range of shades. Made some change with the additives or something in them, as I've been told. Now, what that means also is that they're changing the pot size from 24mm to 18mm. So you're going to get less shade for your money. So what we're doing is we're just going to have a little try out and see if there's any noticeable difference between the old and the new. Unfortunately, or fortunately for that individual, but somebody has cleaned us out of Nuln oil totally over the weekend. The older pot. And I think that we might have just one or two Agrax Easrthshade in the 24mm pots left in stock, and the new stock that we are receiving from this point onwards is the new 18mm size. So unfortunately, if you haven't had a chance to stock up yet, you might be able to grab one of the last remaining Nuln oils, Agrax Easrthshades that we have in stock in the larger size, or you might want the newer, smaller size, because if you like the new formula, then that might be better for you. But I understand that whatever they've done, it makes them closer to the contrast paints. Right, so that's what we're going to try. So this is old Agrax that I'm putting on this half of the mini, and then we're going to move on to the other half of the mini and use new Agrax on that guy, on that half, and see what the difference is, if any, in appearance. Right, let's get that, and then we'll be able to show you all. So we haven't received any of the new contrast paints yet, otherwise we might have been playing with those as well. But hopefully we'll get them soon. Pete says, it's all a con. I presume he means that you're not going to get as much paint for your money. I think that must be undercoated grey. Oh yeah, sweet.
He says, nope, old is better. But we don't know yet, we've not tried them.
No.
They're always changing stuff.
No, let's try old Nuln oil on this half of this guy. So we're going to get these guys knocked out, and then move on to doing some actual mini painting, and then we'll come back and circle round when these guys have hopefully dried.
No, John, we didn't. John says, did you prime them with the new spray? No, these were already primed for the kids' painting sessions. But they are just primed with white, aren't they?
Yeah, we've not had any of the new spray to try, I'm afraid. So these are just undercoated with Army Painter Matte White spray. So they've not sent us
our new contrasts or sprays or anything yet. Only influencers and things like that have had them so far.
Yeah.
But they are all undercoated with the same spray. We did try and find all the ones like Nathan said, that one that he put back in was grey. We don't want to compromise our experiment, so they're all just undercoated with the same, aren't they?
Yeah. I understand that the new spray is a very smooth white, but I always found this this army painter white to be a very smooth finish. If you follow the instructions and make sure that your can's nice and warm and whatever, you can get good coverage. The only thing is I've kind of moved on to undercoating everything black these days, unless I'm brushed primer in something, in which case it might get white or a light grey. So we in the box of minis for painting for the kids, we had so many white and so many black. Well, obviously the shades aren't going to go over black, so brought these to try out.
Cordell says, Army Painter Dark Tone is a really good substitute for Nuln oil too. I brought 3 in my last order.
Yeah.
It's just that these pots of Vallejo are large, aren't they?
Oh yeah, so much paint for your money, so much shade for your money. Eight quid.
Hello.
8 quid for a 200ml pot's just like fantastic. So I'm gonna have a free hydrate for everybody.
You're just too kind. Free hydrates. You're just too kind.
Oh, so generous. So generous. Right then. So that's Agrax.
So do we get to see any of them?
Yeah. So let's have a quick review. So this is
Pete says, hydrate!
just because I had a free one. So
Tony
this
says, I'm a colour forge boy. I love the matte finish, makes life so much easier.
Yeah, those new the Colour Forge primers are awesome. Can we get some tissue? I've just dribbled black paint all over.
Well, Pokemon in chat. Well, Pokemon in chat.
Colour Forge sprays are fantastic. I've got I've mostly been using the black, although I have got a what is it, Tempest Blue, I think it is, to give a whirl for undercoating some Space Marines. I thought it might be a good base for the Night Lords. I'm just going to dab off this heavy excess around the base of the rocks on this guy before it dribbles all over the table. Right then, let's have a quick review. So this is the dipped mini.
So hold him like.
How's that?
Right. Just
Yeah.
hold your tummy slightly. There you go.
Okay, so here's our dipped mini, and that's looking okay. In fact, it's drying in quite a few places, so that's all right. So this is just a white undercoat with that straight in the pot. Looks okay. Okay, and here is the same black brushed on. Which I think looks alright. Obviously it's the way it's drying on these large areas of cloth and what have you doesn't look ideal, but that's you manage colour, I think, when you're putting shades on large flat areas, don't you? This is the Sepia Shade from Vallejo, and I must say I'm actually really liking how that's drying on those armour panels. I think that looks really cool. So yeah, almost like non-metal metal already. Maybe a couple of highlights and you'd be done. But yeah, that's Vallejo Sepia or Sepia, however you want to describe it. And then we've got original Agrax Earthshade, which is like that kind of dirty brown black that we're all used to. It does, doesn't it, Kuronoko? He says that Sepia looks ace. So Agrax Earthshade, and finally traditional Nuln oil on there. So just against a white. Pete still prefers pink. Prefer a pinker colour, he says. Yeah. Thought you might say something along those lines. So, here we go. We've got new formula Nuln oil. So we're going to give that a shake up. I mean, it looks the same. Hi Red Snail, how you doing? Right then, so we're going to take our Nuln oil guy and we're going to paint the other half of him in new Nuln oil. Now one thing that I can notice, as soon as I open this pot, the just the way, hang on, can I open the other one? I think,
Does it smell?
yeah, I think it looks totally different on there. Can you see on the pot? Obviously, the one on the right hand side, if I lift it up a little bit, the one on the right hand side has been in use for a little while, but can you see that the one on the left is greyer
I can.
than the one on the black? The one on the black. The one on the right hand side is blacker, or appears to be blacker in the pot. Now, I did give him everything a really good shake up before the strain, and obviously I've just given it another shake now. But yeah, it definitely appears kind of like greyer, bluer than the other one. So let's get it on. In fact, let's give it another shake just to make sure, and then let's get it on, and we'll see what happens.
Alright, Marvin.
All right, I'm with you.
Is there any indication, apart from it's smaller, that it's the new... Does the pot labelling or anything look different, or is it just it's smaller?
Don't know. No. Yeah, they've changed the pot, so the old one says made in the UK, the new one doesn't. They've obviously had them in the works for a while. It says copyright 2021 Games Workshop on the label. So it's obviously been in process for a long time. Oh, I thought I'd turn that off. That's no good. The Warhammer logo is not on that side of the bottle. What else has it got?
But you won't be able to have both on your shelf and know straight off, apart from the different size.
Yeah.
You won't go like, oh, that's definitely the new one.
No. No. It's just the size is the main giveaway. So let's get that on. In fact, let's turn the volume off on there. It goes on totally differently. Now, is this just because the pot that I've been using previously is I've had it a long time? I don't think so.
When you say it goes on totally different, what do you mean?
Yeah, it feels. So this might be the part of the formula that they've changed. It feels almost like you're just putting water on, like there's no pigment in it or something. It's strange. It's I don't know, like a gel.
We know you can use more descriptive words for people that...
Yeah, I know. It's extremely viscous. It's there you go, big word. Yeah, it's like painting just straight water onto your mini rather than thinking that it's got something in it.
What does it look like, water?
Yeah, it's.
Or is there?
Yeah, there is. It's leaving a residue of colour. Certainly, let's get some on the front of the mini so we can see what's happening. Yes, that's really weird, and it definitely looks greyer than the other Nuln oil. I would say it's more like the contrast grey, the basilicanum grey, than Nuln oil. Oh, maybe we should have tested it against that. I've got some of that. We could give that a go. Test it against it. I've got another Stormcast over here we could try it out on. Yeah, it's very strange consistency. I think that's where we're going to see the most obvious line across the base, I think. We shall see. Right. So, can you tell straight away that there's a difference between the right half of the mini and the left half of the mini?
You can see a line on his chest, but that might just be because one's wet.
Yeah.
John says it definitely looks like it's pooling more. Do you feel like it's pooling more?
I think so, yeah. Maybe we'll have to just give it a little swish around in places. Let's come back to him and we'll see what happens.
Because it looks like it'd be good for shading silver or steel metallics.
Oh, actually, that wasn't the Nuln oil guy, was it? That was the Vallejo guy. Yeah, that was the Vallejo guy.
You should have labelled them.
I know. So now this is Nuln oil guy.
So you want to show us him again now that...
No, I'll show him in a minute when I've done this one. Yeah, so
this is Nuln oil guy.
This is Nuln oil guy.
Do you want to put like a bob of blue tack on him or something?
No, it's alright. I've got him. I'll put him next to. I'll just drop him on top of all those other figures.
So, how's he looking against this one that's actually Nuln oil?
It looks alright. I think it looks alright. Let's get it whacked on and then we'll see. We'll compare the two.
Coronocus is not professionals. No, Coronocus. Never been professionals.
Yeah. Hashtag pro screamer. Streamer even, not screamer.
You can't even get the hashtag. Hamish's hashtag that he's stealing, right?
Yeah. Let's just whack it on. All of it in there. Oh, thank you very much, Grogs.
Hey, Grogs! You got to explain to Grogs what you're doing?
So we're colour testing between old Nuln oil and new Nuln oil, and old Agrex Earthshade and new Agrax Earthshade to see what the difference is, if any, once we've painted a mini. So we've painted half of this mini with old Nuln oil, and this half I'm painting with new Nuln oil, and then we're going to do the same with the others, and then we're going to compare once they're dried and see what the difference is, so we all know what to expect from new formula Nuln oil.
And we're comparing it with the Vallejo because
yeah.
it's cheaper. Hey Wicked D! Grog says, loving the stream. Oh, that's really kind of you, thank you very much. How long have you been here doing it? How many mistakes have you counted so far? It's always a fun one.
Right then, so we'll have to wait for that to dry. I think it's definitely kind of sitting in the detail, pooling in the detail, I think better than old Nuln oil. But let's compare it. Let's compare it once it's dry. So that's old Nuln oil, new Nuln oil, and then I've got this other Stormcast guy here. Let's get him off onto a painting handle, and we'll use new Nuln oil on one half, and then we're going to get some Basilicanum grey contrast on the other half, I think, and we'll compare the two of those just so we can get an idea of what the difference is, because I think that this is very, very similar to that, having just blathered it onto this mini. And the good thing about these easy to build Stormcast figures is the bases are packed with ready moulded detail that's perfect for this kind of experiment. No messing around. It's you've got rocks and leaves and all sorts of stuff depicted on there that you don't need to worry about. They're ideal for beginners to paint, which is exactly why we use them for our painting classes with the kids. And Games Workshop. This is one like great thing about Games Workshop. I know there's lots of great things about Games Workshop. But, one great thing about Games Workshop is they supply us with a pack of these every year for us to run classes with the kids, and we can get more if we need more. But yeah, they send us a box of these as an activity set for us to run after school classes and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Yeah, we had the scouts and the rainbows, and they all loved it, didn't they?
Yeah.
When we do the groups like that.
Some of them are a bit bloodthirsty though.
There was, yeah.
We had the scouts in for the model making badge, so they built a figure and then painted it for their model making and hobbies badge for the thing. But we ended up with like some of them left the arms off and then painted bloody stumps on them and all sorts of stuff. It was wild. Right then, so that's our colour test for Nuln Oil Basilicanum Grey. We'll come back to him. Let's clean our brush. Grog says, do you prefer synthetic brushes to the traditional ones? Got my first synthetic today and unsure if I like it or not. I very much prefer using sable brushes. I have a selection of sable brushes that I really, really like, but I thought that I didn't want to just be dunking my sable brushes straight in these big pots of shade. So I decided that I was going to go with this Citadel colour brush, which we got to test when they first came out. So we tried out a couple of these brushes, and I tend to use them for base coating and shading and other bits and pieces where I don't want to be using my really nice posh brushes. We have some, I really like Rosemary & Co. and Green Stuff World Silver Series. They're really awesome. Definitely recommend those to anybody. So this is the one that I painted with old Agrax Earthshade. And then we're going to put new Agrax Earthshade on this guy. And this Agrax Earthshade, this is new Agrax. And I would say, on first impression, this is more syrupy than the Nuln Oil. Definitely a lot. Feels stickier just through the brush. So, gloopier, shall we say. I would liken this more to the Army Painter strong tone that I've used. Actually, just by the feel of it so far. I think Pete asked earlier on, I think it was Pete, asked what the smell was like. I have a rubbish sense of smell, so we'll have to get...
Nathan doesn't have a sense of smell at all. The house could be filled with gas and he wouldn't know, or he could be burning the toast and he'd have no idea.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to get Mrs. MLG to do a smell test on him.
Oh, thanks. Koronoko says, Team Synthetic here. Weasels are far too cute. Yeah, we do have some Rosemary & Co. synthetic brushes as well, because we do try and stock everything for everybody, all budgets and all ethical choices. So we do have those as well, for people that don't want the sables.
Yep.
I hope you didn't want this cardboard box because Gizmo was eating it.
No. I only brought it home to bring these minis in. It was way too big anyway. Right. Bit of new Nuln oil. I think it's like rosier, shall we say, in colour. That's maybe not a good.
That's pink then.
Yeah.
That's just pink.
Yeah, right. Rose is not a good word, is it? It's definitely got a different hue, I think, to the traditional Agrax Earthshade, but we'll see what it looks like once it's dried. But putting it on, it definitely feels more like a reddy brown than a black brown. So let's get that bit in there, get that bit in there.
Oh, Johnny is challenging Pando to rock paper scissors. You have to tell it what you want, John. So use exclamation mark rock or exclamation mark paper or exclamation mark scissors, and then see who wins. We've got 30 seconds though. Quinn says the red dot brushes are nice, but my favourite is the green stuff world ones. I think I've brought your last stock last time.
Yeah, we've got a lot of the green series, but I think we've kept them as sets. We've got a lot of the green series sets in, and we haven't got any as singles at the moment.
Oh, Panda won! Panda won the challenge.
Yeah, it's a rig.
Pete.
He knows what. See you later, Pete. Pando knows what you're going to do. It's a rig. Right then, so this is on the right hand side of the mini. This is the Vallejo Sepia all over. And I know that this isn't a direct comparison because the Games Workshop do a sepia ink. They do Seraphim Sepia. But the reason that we've used this is Vallejo, you do this sepia in a 200ml dipping style tub, like the black that we used at the start. So that's the reason that I've applied that onto half of this mini, because I wanted to see what the comparison was for cost saving purposes between Agrax Earthshade and the sepia dipping size tub. So with that you get 200ml of fluid for £8, which I think is an absolute bargain. So the black, I don't think there's much in it with the black compared to Nuln oil, and obviously Nuln oil is expensive for a pot of paint. So if you're going to be painting a whole army or whatever, and you're going to be using a whole load of shade, we'll be able to show you the results. Nothing, I was just looking at the chat. Tony says that he likes the Green Stuff World synthetics. They're his frequent flyers. Little blob over there. Wouldn't be an MLG painting stream without a bit of blobbage. Right, let's just get the inside of that done.
John the Templar thinks it's time for a posture check. Don't hurt your back.
Yeah, you were disappearing, I think. Everybody have a posture check. Everybody check their posture. Make sure that you're all sat nice and slouching.
Yeah, have had a bit of backache today after yesterday's exertion cutting the hedge. I say exertion because we use an electric hedge trimmer, so really it's just standing up a ladder, waving it around like a chainsaw.
And cutting through the wire.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the wife running around at the bottom of the ladder, sweeping it up and putting it in the bin and gathering all the leaves up. And you were just having fun with your giant chopper. We'd left it a little bit too long this time though, so it was... we filled 2 wheelie bins and a green sack.
It's fine. We had a circuit breaker on, so when I cut through it, it just stopped.
We're used to him doing it, John. He does it all of the time.
I've only done it like every other time I've cut the hedge. It's so easy to do though, isn't it? That's the thing. It's so easy to just go, I've done it again. Right then, Basilicanum Grey. Let's try out something. So Basilicanum Grey looks like old Nuln oil in the pot, although it is a little thicker. So we're going to try Basilicanum Grey on half of this mini and see what this looks like. Sorry?
What's on the other half, sorry?
New Nuln oil. Because it felt like Basilicanum Grey out of the pot. So it felt like more like a contrast paint, which is what I've been told. That they've changed it so it behaves more like a contrast paint. So something to do with the medium or whatever that's in the shade. Now this looks darker straight away, but then the other thing looked darker as I was painting it on. So we'll have to see what this looks like. Hopefully these are going to dry before, or be at a point almost dry before the end of the stream, that we can show everybody what it looks like. I do like the way that the Vallejo Sepia has dried onto that mini. I think that looks fab. I've got some Stormcast that I never finished painting. I think I did one in silver, but was never really happy with it. They might get all sepia and then just get some details picked out, because I think that looks pretty cool actually.
Tony says,
happy little accidents.
Chop through the power line on one of my hedge trimmers, chop through the washing line too. Well, thankfully for me, the washing line is in a different place.
Yeah. I'm just clumsy, as you probably guessed by the entertainment value of our stream, and various YouTube videos. It's only a hedge cutter though, it's not like it's a chainsaw or anything.
No, I won't let you use that anymore.
Oh, it's broken anyway.
Yep.
That's petrol powered, so there's no cables to cut through.
That's what Rex now's got, a petrol hedge cutter.
Yeah, we haven't got enough hedge to warrant it, really. Right, let's. That's that guy. Thank you, Tony.
I don't think he could change now, Tony, not after 40 odd years.
Yeah. Right then, let's have a. Would you do me a massive favour, sweetie?
Of course I will.
Would you pull me that out today? Right.
Oh, there's me. Did you see that? There is me thinking he wants some paint passing or a hat passing or something like that. No, he just wants me to pour his beer for him.
Well, you know, these guys don't want to see me tipping my beer out, do they? So, where are we? So, the next thing that I'm going to be painting on my little painting table is this guy, Garguk the Ogre. So, he's going to be tomorrow night's painting project. He's for a trio with Sharon and somebody else. Can't remember. Might be Deathly. But yeah, I've been wanting to paint this guy for ages. I've also been trying to convince Mrs. MLG to paint this guy for me for a little while.
I don't want to.
And she has resisted, so I'm going to paint him. So he's tomorrow night's project. What are you doing, dog? The dog's trying to get under my chair. Wait, what are you doing? You're chasing a fly.
That's a dog.
You want to come and say hello to everybody?
I've accidentally made you an ice cream.
Yeah.
It's one of them glasses with one of them silly bits in the bottom that makes it all frothy.
Yeah. Right then, let's have a little review. So this is dipped. Hello. Kuronoko, I got one of those gas-powered weed burners. It's way too much fun, and our fence now has some lovely scorch marks. Yeah, quite fancy one of those for getting rid of the stuff in the block paving in the front garden. But I think I might just have to content myself with boiling the kettle and using some salt. So yeah, this is dipped Stormcast. Now she looks alright. I would imagine, I think it's a she. She looks okay. If we get, if she was painted and then you dipped her, I don't think that would be too bad. Although the way that it's kind of pooled on some of these flatter areas, yeah, you'd have to spend a bit of time keeping on top of where the shade went, especially on this large area of cape. So I'm not a big fan of using the dipping method, but we've tried it, and that's what it looks like.
Hey Hamish, you're just in time for comparisons.
Good evening. Right, so this is right hand side is Vallejo dipping black brushed on, and the right hand side is new Nuln oil.
Wild Pokemon in chat. I'm sure you said right hand side twice.
Slowpoke.
Which side's which?
Right, so right hand side over here, this one that I'm pointing at, this is the right hand side. Okay, so this is Vallejo dipping stuff, big Vallejo Game Wash pot, and if you can see the base. So, and then on the left hand side of the mini is new Nuln oil. Now, on the base there is very little to tell between them. But when you look at the actual mini itself, here on the right hand side we've definitely got a darker tone, I think, on the right hand side, and then over here on the left hand side is very more grey, apart from where we've got some heavy pooling in the larger recesses down the bottom of the mini. And if we look at the back, so the Vallejo one has a bit like the dipped version, so I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's almost like it's picked up sort of micro textures in the spray where the Nuln oil hasn't. It's almost like it's been undercoated in two different paints. But can you see from the difference on the shoulder pads? So this is the Vallejo at this side over here, and this is the Nuln oil over here at this side. It's definitely a much lighter tone that I think has shaded much better in the recesses. So that's what we've got there. So it might be more expensive, but it does give different results. I guess that's what we're looking at so far. So that is that one. And then we've got old Nuln oil versus new Nuln oil on this mini. So here we go. Okay, so right hand side is old Nuln oil, and left hand side over here is new Nuln oil. And again, you can see I think a noticeable difference between the two, old and new. So the old one has pooled in kind of obvious areas around the edge of this shoulder guard and what have you, where the new one has sunk in and deposited itself much nicer around the edges. And let's flip them over, look at the back. So this is old Nuln oil here on the left hand side, and again you can tell by the shoulder guards and what have you that the new Nuln oil is definitely a lot smoother. It's like it's I don't know, almost like it's got flow improver mixed in. Maybe it has. Maybe that's the difference. But yeah, definite really nice transition in there. So if you're translating from old to new Nuln oil, this is what you can expect. But it isn't quite as dark. So even on the skirt area here down the bottom, it's made the whole thing kind of grayer, whereas on the new side it's left this top area very pale and just allowed the shade to sediment into the creases. So let's put him out of the way. That's Nuln oil done. Discussed. Right. So here we have that sepia colour. So this is Vallejo Sepia, which I think looks absolutely glorious. I'm loving it. I think it looks really fantastic. Might have to have a bit more of a play with this. And then Agrax Earthshade. So this is new Agrax Earthshade on the left hand side. Now obviously that's still a bit wet in the recesses, but there's they're not a direct comparison because the sepia is a very golden colour and the Agrax is definitely a darker brown. Now I think that this is definitely more a redder brown than the older Agrax, but we'll look at that direct comparison here in a second. But let's just reflect slightly more on what a beautiful golden shade this sepia is. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. That's the Vallejo Sepia, which I don't know why I never really thought about that before, but I think it looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And here we are, onto direct comparison. Old Agrax Earthshade here on the right hand side, compared to new Agrax Earthshade on the left hand side. So again, a bit like the Nuln oil, we've got much better pooling and shading on the shoulder pads from the new colour, but it is definitely lighter on the body. So as we look down the kind of difference between the two halves of the mini, so much darker, grimier finish on the right hand side, and on the left hand side here the new formula, definite smoother. I mean obviously I've just blathered it on, so you can definitely see the difference. It's definitely a lot smoother, a lot paler on the highlighted areas, or the higher areas, sorry, and is still pooling quite nicely in the heavy recesses. And again on the back side, quite a dirty looking finish on the left hand side, which is the old Agrax, and again on the shoulder pads we've got a little bit of excess pooling there on that shoulder, but otherwise these shoulder guards, the new one, definitely much cleaner than the old brand. So I mean you can make up your own minds about which one you think is better. Hi Pete's back. Make up your own minds what you think. I think the new one gives a better finish. If I'm honest, I think it's a good thing that they've changed it. However, I don't like the fact that the pot's got smaller and the price is the same. So that's my personal thought. However, we're not going to be able to get the old one anymore without paying silly money for it on internet auction sites. So I think that we're just going to have to get used to the new formula, aren't we?
So did you compare it to the contrast paint, and is it a matte or gloss finish?
They're definitely drying matte. Once they've fully dried, we'll show you a direct comparison. Now here is a comparison. This guy's still drying between the so this is new Nuln oil here on the right hand side that we've daubed all over. New Nuln oil, very light in shade. I think that would actually be pretty perfect for shading some stormtroopers, some Star Wars Legion stormtroopers. And here on the left-hand side of the Mini, I've used Basilicanum Grey contrast paint because I thought that they were very similar when applying it. However, you can tell very noticeably the difference between the two. The Basilicanum Grey is definitely a lot darker finish than the Nuln Oil. So let's flip him over the back and we can see it again. So Basilicanum Grey here on the right hand side. Now obviously it's still wet, still very heavy pooling in these recesses here. The Basilicanum Grey, but the Nuln Oil on the on the left hand side even, where the shield is and what have you, you can see how kind of subtle that is in comparison. Yeah, definite difference between those two. So I thought they were the same, but they're not the same. Nuln Oil definitely lighter.
So Amy says, it's not like GW to put the prices up now, you see. You see, it's not like GW to put the prices up, Amy says, but they've not, Hamish. The prices are exactly the same. They've just made the pots smaller.
Yeah, that's new pot versus old pot. But, yeah. And it's still made in the UK. It says on the new pot, made in the UK. They've just changed the design slightly. So this one used to have the old one had a little made in the UK with a United flag on. And the new one omits that. Also, it doesn't have the Warhammer logo on, which I think is a bit strange. But seeing as they spent a fortune rebranding all their stores and what have you as Warhammer stores. But hey, the new pots are indeed the same size as the contrast paints. There is a comparison between new Nuln Oil and Basilicanum Grey, same size, 18ml pots, as opposed to old style 24ml pots. So, for anybody that might not be aware, they are removing Nuln Oil gloss and Agrax Earthshade gloss and Reichland Flesh Shade gloss. And I think there might be a Seraphim Sepia gloss. So they're removing those from the range. So they are another case of when they're gone, they're gone. The gloss versions. But I know that they're not quite as popular, but people do like to use them for shading metals and things, don't they? I understand. So there you go. Look. That's it. That's perfectly filled an hour.
Yeah, I'm going to show what I've been...
Oh yeah, let's have a look at Mrs. MLG's Mini that she's been painting.
Messing.
Speed paint. She's cracked this off in an hour.
That's not true, then.
No, Mrs. MLG has been painting this Mini during the day today as well. So this is All Hallows Eve, the one of the fantastic minis.
Look, Tony, he put the arm on properly for me.
Yeah. One of the fantastic minis that Reaper tend to re-release at Halloween, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Love the way that you've painted this, my darling.
It'll do.
It looks great. Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, John the Templar. Thank you, Kuronoko. Thank you, everybody, for taking your time out of your evening to come and join us while we waffle and just slap paint on stuff.
We hope it's helped as well. We hope you can see the... Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Goblin Squire.
We hope it's helped and that you can see the difference and stuff. We'll put some pictures in the Discord once they're fully dry as well to give you a bit more of an idea. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.